Okay. All right. That was a bit of a false start there, I think. With the but I mean that's kind of expected, right? Because this is the first Sheffield Gaming Podcast live. Or is it a podcast? If it's a video, is it a vodcast? I don't know. How do we call it?
It's a live stream, isn't it? But
it's
going to be there forever.
I tell you what, let's not call it.
Let's just stick with what.
Let's just let it be what it is. Yeah, Sheffield Gaming Podcast Live. It's a Twitch stream, and we're all here, and we exist, and people can see us. Hopefully,
it's a friendly get together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they can definitely see us now. Of course.
Cool.
Whew, and breathe. Okay. So, sorry to do that. Yes, welcome to the Sheffield Gaming, whatever it is. This is a show, I suppose, designed to kind of bring everyone together from the Sheffield Gaming community and that go to loads of kind of different Sheffield Gaming businesses. Well, at least we used to anyway before this happened. And now we all
did go outside.
Once, but I can't remember. So, right. I'm sorry. Just I'm still playing around with levels and figuring out how I can get all our levels up. But I make sure they're all balanced. But there we go. Cool. Technical issues as we expected. But yes, so this show is designed to kind of let you all know what's going on inside the city, outside our homes, as well as offering a bit of a kind of an inside track into all of our kind of favorite gaming places in Sheffield. That's from kind of the National Video Game Museum, which is where I work, to Treehouse Board Game Cafe, which Matt kind of works for, Extra Life Gaming Lounge, Meltdown Esports Bar, Ember kind of Gaming Network, which Jade is part of, and kind of loads more. So like I said, my name is Connor, and today I am joined by. Should we go down first?
Okay, I'm Matt Turner. I work for in outside of the pandemic. I work for the Treehouse Board Game Cafe, and I'm part of that community, part of the board gaming community and tabletop role playing community of Sheffield, based around the Treehouse.
Ace, and then move on that way.
Hiya, I'm Jade Knox. I'm an Ember ambassador. So that means basically I'm kind of a rep for the site, which is like an online social media for gamers. So all of your socials will go into the same place, and we work quite close with these guys, and we're all lovely and friendly, and it's great.
Ace. So I mean, how's everyone doing? How's everyone surviving?
Well, you first, Matt.
I'm still alive. It's. To be honest, I don't think this is a kind of a sentiment that's fully supported around the world, but I'm okay. Like, I am doing the things that I would have been doing if I had a big holiday off work for a long time. I am playing a lot of Animal Crossing, like literally everyone else in the known universe. I am playing a bunch of board games online, which I'm sure we can get onto later. But I'm doing a bunch of that. I'm playing tons and tons of D&D. I'm playing D&D like 3 times a week now, because I've just got time to. It's brill.
That's amazing.
Ace, Jade, how you doing?
Yeah, this is like unpopular opinion number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I am thriving.
Amazing.
Yeah, I am completely in my element. Like, I don't have to think of like excuses to not do stuff. Like, everyone's just doing it all for me. I just basically get to sit and wait it out, like not changing my tracky bottoms and sat at the computer. Like, it's basically the dream for me. So I'm pretty well, thanks. Better than ever. Connor?
Ace. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing all right. I don't know. I did like it a little bit at first. And maybe it's just the kind of that gamer in us, the gaming fan in us. You know, I have played a lot more video games and a lot of Animal Crossing myself. But there is this itchy part of me Particularly whenever the sun comes out and I see it outside my window, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. God, I can see all the way down my street behind me, and it looks really nice to just go out in. But no, I do get that. I do think I'm starting to get the itch.
No?
I never get it. Like, I don't even like summer that much. So for summer, like for me, the connotations are to be at least looking like you're having fun, like all the time. You can't look like you're inside at any point. You have to go to a festival, which and it's like, and you have to be skinny and outside, and I'm neither of those like things. So I'm quite happy to dissolve in this chair.
Do you have a good chair? I think that makes a difference. Is when you have a really good chair. See, my chair is rubbish. I think that's making it worse. I'm just sat on like a dining chair.
I've just moved in here, and my gaming chair's still at home, and that's giving me a bit of sads.
Do you have one of those cool racer gamer chairs that are like the gamer chair?
I might have one of those pink ones. It might have a massage feature. I don't know.
Oh, okay, that is a game changer.
I thought I was doing all right with just a kind of ergonomic office chair, but that's the sort of person I am. I'm sort of an ergonomic office chair sort of person.
Kind of guy.
As long as you can swivel on it, then you can. Cool.
As long as you can swivel, it's all good. But no, I do see what you're saying, Connor, and like it is. I'm missing certain things, right? I'm missing going out to bars, like wondering whether the person I'm going to meet I've never met before, or like or talk to, for instance, have conversations with people I haven't spoken to really, or like I don't know, just like hugging friends, like that sort of thing. It's just those little bits of life that you just go. It was quite nice to have that kind of unregulated space that you could go out onto and not know what's going to go on. Also, miss chicken shops.
I definitely miss eating out.
I'm probably gonna keep some of these rules in place after the quarantine, where I'm just like, if someone comes over for a hug, I'm gonna go, it's all right. We can keep it in the elbow. That's fine, but I'm good.
I definitely feel like I used to take those things for granted, like handshakes, and just like the non 2 meter rule. Like, you know, I've had to kind of go out into town, and kind of whenever you're doing your big shop or whatever, which is a whole different conversation, is going in the supermarket nowadays. But that, I do feel constantly on edge with that kind of 2 meter thing, like not trying to get too close to people.
Sure, yeah. I like it's really weird. Like we're trying to go out for just a little bit of kind of not daily, don't be silly, but a little bit of exercise every few days. Just even if it's just a walk, right? But it's just this strange situation where like people who you would expect, like, you know, middle-aged men who are like twice the size of me, are just like crossing the street to avoid me. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm walking into Mos Eisley Cantina here, just like, get out of my way. You know, like...
Yes, everyone's terrified of everybody else.
Yeah.
So you said you've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. I mean, how are you up to? Have you filled your island up yet? Are you got a load of villagers in there?
Fundamentally, no. The answer for me is I am so far behind. I feel like I'm behind everyone. I don't know, like
Me too. Honestly, it's all right. Bleep show my island. It's awful.
Are you still in a tent?
No, but I've only just got the shop, like the upgrade shop, and someone had to give me the nuggets.
Like there's a lot to do. Like and the thing is, I'm sharing my island with my partner, which means that like the bottleneck for actually making any progress isn't really getting the money or anything. Of course, she's spending all the money on upgrading her house, and like as I am as well, right? Like any disposable income is going on getting new rooms, right? But like also you've got to do all this admin every time I talk to Tom Nook. He's got another bit of admin for me to do. It's like, oh, I need you to go out and plot a place for this random frogman to live in. I'm like, all right, well, fair enough. But like, I am incredibly indecisive. I will put off those decisions for as long as humanly possible, which means that the time that could be spent waiting for him to build that house is instead spent not doing anything at all and just fishing again.
Yes, I'm completely opposite to you, Matt, because I literally I do all the admin, I do all the dig everything straight away, and then I go and do all the Nook Miles things. And I haven't actually bought anything that I couldn't already afford, like it's real life. So I've gone and got 200,000 bells and then expanded my house, only to find that it makes it look bigger. So obviously, it just looks like worse.
you got nothing in it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm leading a very realistic Animal Crossing life, and it's sad.
So I felt bad about it at the time, but I kind of gamed the system with that. So you can get Nook Miles from just doing like achievements, milestones and stuff, right? So I had the smallest house, didn't have any rooms in my house, but I decided to break down all the flowers that I picked up into individual items and just drop them on the floor. And you can like fill up your house with flowers, right? And then it gives you like 2,000 Nook Miles. I'm like, okay. Ace. So
don't have to buy a carpet now.
But it definitely felt like I was gaming the system, and it's not the way to play Animal Crossing. So yeah.
I don't know if you can put like pictures and things on the screen, but I found a wallpaper that freaked me the hell out. I'm going to post it in the little chat here. Is that okay? Is that
go right ahead. Yeah.
It's from my Twitter. And
okay,
I'll post. And you know,
I'll see if I can post it on. I'll see if I can post it on Twitch chat. Shall I?
Yes. So what you'll be looking at is just CCTV cameras of the entire island.
Okay.
It is.
Hang on.
Walls upon walls. You know that bit at the end of Watchmen where Ozymandias has got all those TVs.
Yeah.
And he's just like got walls upon walls of TVs where he's watching everything going on around the globe. It's just like that, except localized entirely within Animal Crossing's island.
That is something else.
It's terrifying.
Okay, let me have a look.
Oh, by the way, Matt, I took your advice. I did end up crafting the Bunny Day bag.
Yep.
But everything else could go to hell.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, I think the 3 Bunny Day items that I have discovered that I like are literally visible in this picture. There are those. There's the little lanterns that go along, the little what look like LED lanterns. Then there's the nice hat that I'm imagining is a kind of Easter version of Midsummer, and then the bag, which is just cute as heck.
It is cute. I'll give you that straight away.
But other than that, everything else can go to hell, unless you want to look like a little duck man, in which case.
I lied. Yeah. I completely lied. I did make the balloons as well.
Oh yeah, the balloons are kind of cute.
Yeah, they're alright.
But at the moment, I'm not bothered about the eggs. Egg day? No. Who cares about that? This is cherry blossom season, folks. You need to get on.
Bonsai. I've made a bag and the floor.
Yes, I've made a bag, the floor. I made a little lantern. That is gorgeous. But like, yeah, you need to get out there. Be chopping the bamboo. If you've got bamboo on your island, you need to get that fresh spring bamboo every day. Because during this is the only season that you can get a different kind of bamboo that can be used to make certain things, and and also be catching those flower petals in your net so that you can make all the cutest pink things in the game.
Did you get all the fish that you needed in March?
No.
Oh. The stringfish.
Not even slightly.
We caught it half an hour before March ended, right at the last second. Oh, we didn't think it existed. Thought it was a mythical beast, the stringfish. But it does exist. unfortunately gonna have to hang on till December now.
I didn't look anything up at that point. Like I still kind of haven't, to be honest. It's just been sort of like muddling along and sort of like going, okay, these are the things that feel like they're seasonal.
Yeah.
Petals and things that say spring and eggs. Those are the things that feel like I can't get them anywhere else. Fish, they're probably going to come back. I believe the string fish comes back in December. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about it. I'll be playing till then.
Yeah. And also, don't skimp on the eggs, because I think you'll find they're worth a bit of money.
Oh.
You can get good bells. Yeah.
Sugar, I used my Nook Miles, my Nook like ticket today, airline thing, and went and ditched a load on some rando's island because I couldn't be bothered with them no more.
Oh, definitely sell them. Okay, cool. So Animal Crossing is definitely going to keep us through this. It's done so well as well, hasn't it? Have you seen now? It's like it's the best-selling Switch game like ever now.
Yikes!
Of course it is. Like they've got a captive audience.
Perfect timing.
To escape, like somehow.
I mean, it is a good opportunity also to play the massive catalog of indie games that I'm sure if you're a PC gamer you have just kind of hanging around that everyone's told you are really good and cute and amazing, and they're only like 4-hour experiences, and you're like, oh, I'll get to it.
Virginia was a good one, and the Novelists, they were really, really good and quite short. It's like the more story type based ones.
Yeah.
And you can sort of decide how the life turns out. I like that.
Virginia is it's so Twin Peaks, but the way it kind of cuts from scene to scene is so cinematic that it's not. I don't think it's ever been done in a game before. It's such a cool game.
I'm wanting to play Control. I didn't catch any of the hype before that game, but then I saw some of it played, and I've just been loving it. The whole like almost Tarantino-esque like titles on screen, just coming up in between like locations, and the lens flare and all this weird rainbow smoke that comes out. Imagine if I'm gonna say imagine if like a Tarantino film was kind of a game, but also was set in a weird alternate universe, alternate history, American sort of government facility, where like a gun is alive and a phone is a strange possessed object. It's really cool.
Sort of like Reservoir Dogs meets X-Files.
Yes, it's very X-Files.
Cool.
It's phenomenal, and I can't wait to dive into that. Obviously today, big day, right? Final Fantasy and the Wrath of Cloud, or whatever it's called.
That was yesterday, wasn't it? The release date of Final Fantasy.
Oh, was it in the evening?
I feel like they've been released. They released it like over a week ago.
Yeah, because I saw so many Twitter, like Instagram and Twitter posts, just like the game yesterday, and I was like, right, you got it then.
Yeah. I didn't pre-order it, and I am gutted now, because if I want a physical copy, like you're waiting ages for post, obviously. So I'm just gonna wait it out.
I've got no kind of nostalgia for that game. I don't really do Final Fantasy. Currently sort of trying to muddle through Final Fantasy 9, but turn-based combat has never been my thing. And then I looked at it, and like, this combat looks beautiful, right? You've seen it, if you look in the trailers and you look in the gameplay footage, it really does look gorgeous. And I've started, and I did start to play Final Fantasy 15. But I couldn't quite get on with the combat in that. It just felt like it's like do the menu, but really, really quick instead of just really quick. But like looking at it now, it does look a little bit more actiony. I think I might actually like this one.
And I'm pretty sure you can. I played the demo. It's tough. It's a really tough game. And I'm pretty sure like there's a mode to like basically pauses the entire thing in a freeze frame, and then you can select for what you want to do as well.
Reminds me a little bit of Zero Mode in Transistor. Is it Zero Mode? The turn mode in Transistor by Supergiant Games, where God, that game is brilliant. Every time I talk about it, I just kind of gush forever.
The best soundtrack in any game ever. I will. That's the hill I will die on. It has the best soundtrack.
When I'm working in Treehouse, I put it on in the background constantly. I think it weirds people out, but it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, the idea that you're in combat, you're in kind of like action isometric combat, and then you press the space bar and immediately you go into this turn mode where it's turn based. You've got a certain amount of like time to just plan out your next few moves, and the enemies will move.
I've not played in like either game that you've mentioned so far, but this reminds me very slightly of the Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Because is that similar? Is it a similar thing? You can kind of slow it down, and sort of you've got time to sort of decide what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Okay.
But it kind of turns it into a turn-based game as well. Like, so like the idea is, it's kind of like a twin stick transistor in that you are like using, it's an isometric action, like hack and slash sort of thing. And you're like firing lasers at enemies and all that kind of stuff. But then you press, if you want, you can go through the whole game just doing that. You don't actually have to use the turn thing. But if you want, you can just press space, time stops, and it kind of gives you this bar of like, here are the next few seconds that you can use. And then you can kind of like go, okay, I want to run around there, hit that guy from that angle, and then run around another place and then hit that guy from that angle.
Right.
And then if you press like, if you go, oh no, I messed that up, you'll rewind time and sort of plan it out again, or you can go, no, execute that order, and it'll do it all. That's it's really cool. But yeah, like Conor was saying, the soundtrack is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a singer, and so like a lot of the tracks there's a lot of songs in it, but also whenever you go into that turn mode, it's kind of got this kind of thumping, a little bit drum and bass sort of backing music, and then whenever you go into turn mode, you'll just hear her humming in her own head. It kind of strips out a load of the music, strips out most of the high end of the music, and then you can just hear her sort of humming along to it, because like the protagonist humming along to it, because you're kind of in her head. She's sort of working really hard to figure out what she's going to do next, so you can just sort of, it's a really gorgeous little experience. Can't recommend it enough.
Cool. So what I wanted to kind of chat about now, it's probably a bit, it's kind of less fun than games, but because it's a bit more important, but it's actually about kind of Sheffield gaming businesses at large. When I kind of started doing this podcast, which was only 2 or 3 months ago, but it could have been years, who knows? But it was all about getting it kind of sharing, kind of celebrating the gaming kind of focus kind of spaces in Sheffield, and those spaces kind of rely upon people going to them. Now, right now, everyone's kind of at home in isolation, so they can't go out and go to these places, and that means that these places are at high risk of kind of having to struggle for money and financially as well. So what I wanted to quickly chat about is how can we, the people kind of listen to it along with us, along with people that are in Sheffield, love games, and kind of want to kind of really kind of grow and elevate this kind of gaming community. How can we kind of support those places? So, Matt, I don't mind if it's okay if I chat with you first, because you are, you work for Treehouse in the back, and obviously Treehouse are now closed. And there's a board game cafe with nobody coming in. That could be a problem, right?
Yes, yeah. It doesn't really work, frankly, being a physical face-to-face sort of location, where you buy beer and things when everything is closed, nobody can leave their homes, that sort of thing. So we've found ourselves with a little kind of a loss, especially given that we've got this really strong community together. We sort of feel like a lot of people, we have so many regulars and so many people who have met through the Treehouse, or just sort of like play games all the time through the Treehouse. So we have sort of like it's been interesting, I think, trying to like seeing that. And obviously I'm not like working there now. I'm here at home like everyone else. But there are things that are going on in the community that are going on. So firstly, there is we're doing social gaming and quizzes. So there are still things going on within that community. So social gaming actually is starting up this Monday, where it's going to be we think a big Zoom call, and or potentially multiple of them. I know we've done sort of Discord things in the past and so forth, but playing online board games. So there's a billion different places you can play board games online. There are individual apps and things like that you can get for individual games, but also there's things like Tabletop Simulator, which I am learning to love, and Tabletopia. What else have we got? There are all sorts of things that you can play those games through, and so people who are loving board games, who are now unfortunately unable to play board games with anyone but the people they are locked in their house with, then you can still reach out, and I have been doing. I've been playing a lot of board games, but anyway, yeah. So the quiz, if you want to. Basically, the quiz is still going on. In fact, it's actually started happening more frequently. In previous kind of podcasts, we've talked about the Treehouse quiz. We've talked about a bunch of the quizzes that go on around Sheffield, and I think there are a bunch kind of carrying on around Sheffield. But the Treehouse quiz is a particularly puzzly one, a particularly kind of cryptic one, and it's still going. Ben, our Quizmaster, is kind of running them, I think, now every 2 weeks, and always on a Sunday, I believe. And the way this works is that it's £5 entry, for a team, and you get sent the quiz sheet. Right, you get sent the quiz sheet with all the questions on it, and then
it's like a Google Doc, or it's like a PDF.
I think it's a PDF. Yeah,
okay.
I think it's a form fillable PDF. But I wasn't there for this test one, the one that just went through.
Yep.
All those questions go out, and there's a kind of video that gets sent with that, kind of welcoming you to the quiz, introducing some of the questions, that sort of thing, and then you get on Zoom or Google Hangouts or Skype or whatever with your buddies and your team, and you basically work together during the allotted time to fill that through and send that filled out form back, and then it gets judged, and there's a prize. I think it's a £30 something like that voucher for the Treehouse when we open. So it's a lot of fun. It's the questions that Ben comes up with are fundamentally ungoogleable for a start.
I was going to say that's the first thing, right? Is if you're sending them the quiz answers, like first thing I'm doing is if I'm really stuck on it, like straight onto Google. I'm not that bad, but I know there are lesser people than me that might do that, I suppose.
Less scrupulous folk. Yeah, no, they are ungoogleable. It's incredible. Like it's always things like countries that start that contain these 3 letters and stuff like that, and it's just this kind of you couldn't possibly Google that. How would you Google that, right? Or like a kind of only connect style associations that no one has the answers to because they're completely separate. So that's going on. So those are the kind of events.
Like how many fingers am I holding up behind my hand? There we go. Did you guess?
It's
one.
3.
It was one.
It was one.
Ungoogleable. You're never going to answer that.
Unless there's a mirror behind you in a different stream. You joke, but genuinely, when I was at uni, someone the pub quiz did have the tiebreaker round. What's my favourite football team?
Amazing. Do you have to get it right, or can you get close to it? Is it like if you say, "Oh, Manchester City," that's close enough to Man United, right?
I'll never find out because I think the person my team was tie breaking with was a friend of the person who was running the quiz, so they knew, which is infuriating. But I don't hold grudges. I don't hold grudges for 5-10 years. But yes, sorry, off topic there. In terms of like the way though that you can help the Treehouse kind of bring in bring in a bit of money over the course. If you want to help the small business that is the Treehouse, then you can on the website, which is treehousesheffield.com. You can buy gift cards. So, for instance, I know a lot of people who are regulars are basically doing a thing where they are buying gift cards for how much they would be spending. Each week, so that they're gonna have. I reckon some of them are gonna have quite a backlog of gift cards. They're gonna have quite a few weeks paid up. So it's just saving when you think about it. Other than that, we are still doing memberships. Memberships at the Treehouse are. I should say this in the third person because I'm not handling literally any of this. I'm just basically on holiday. The Treehouse memberships are £25 for a full year, and basically when we open, again, it gives you half price on cover charges, 10% off at in the shop where you can buy board games and a bunch of. And also that 10% carries over to Patriot Games in town, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on in the show.
Ace.
And let me think. Yes, we also have a donation link, which is on Buy Me a Coffee. I think you can find that on the Treehouse social media. Let me. I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay, no worries. Well, I think you did say obviously you get 10% off at Patriot, which is great. I know. Kind of, they are. We were chatting just before this call started actually about how Patriot Games are a kind of Sheffield institution, and actually, unfortunately, last week they celebrated their 26th anniversary in total isolation, though. But they are doing a delivery service. So if you want to buy cards, keep it with games, they are delivering around kind of Sheffield area, which is really cool. But yeah, other ways you can support those too. I'm pretty sure they're also sending kind of gift vouchers around. They, like I said, they do have their delivery service. They've paused it for this weekend because apparently it's Easter weekend. I had no idea. Like,
it's the weekend.
Apparently, yeah, it's a Friday today. What is a Friday? Who knows? Time has no meaning.
There's no such thing as a weekend. Yeah, you're right.
It's perpetually Wednesday and Sunday at the same time.
Yeah, choose your favorite day. Make it that. At the moment, I'm wearing a shirt, which means it must be Friday.
Oh, well, there we go. Is that how you know?
Because, you've got to mark the days somehow. So. Wearing actual clothes Friday is my thing.
That's such a long name.
Amazing. Okay, so Patriot Games as well, kind of like I said, Sheffield institution. Please, if you can support them or you want to get some delivery cards, go for it. Also, I should obviously mention that I am obviously here representing the Video Game Museum, and the museum is also kind of struggling a little bit, to be honest, at the moment. We kind of, it must have been a month ago now, I suppose. I don't know. But we kind of took the decision that before the kind of government came in and enforced this whole lockdown, that we needed to close because, being such a kind of, big kind of hands-on museum like that, we kind of sort of a little bit saw it slightly ahead of time, I suppose. And that kind of stuff. When people are kind of sharing controllers, it could be, some people are going to have obviously right concerns about that. That being said, because we're still a new museum, we only been open 15, 16 months or so. We're not yet in the position that we have any kind of, public funding or anything to kind of rely upon. Or we're totally funded by people coming into the museum. So that's a bit of a struggle for us. But what we did is we launched a fundraising campaign on Just Giving. Essentially kind of looking for kind of money to kind of help us weather the storm. If people, of course, are able to kind of do so. Look after yourself first and foremost, I suppose. And that's been going well so far. We've kind of got a lot of support. And actually, tomorrow, I am really excited because the folks over at Ember and all the streamers have gotten together to do a fundraising stream, a 12-hour fundraising stream to save the NVM, which is going to be super exciting. Jade, I believe that you are streaming from, is it 2 till 4 tomorrow?
2 till 4. And do you know what I'm playing? Bloody Animal Crossing. You can see what a state my island's in.
Well, you got to catch up somehow. If you're doing a full 2-hour stream, then
That's it, Matt. Exactly. I mean, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 of us streaming, so obviously it's not like 2 hours a set, or that wouldn't work properly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a load of us. Harlan, he does a load of work for Ember. He'll be streaming first of all 12 till 2. Then it'll be myself. Then we got Kadros. That'll be 4 till 6. Franchise 6 till 8. Showduck 8 till 10. 10 till 12 is Morgamus, and it'll finish off with Harlan as well. That'll just go from midnight to 15:15, and that's because the whole day we'll be doing raffles and competitions and things for things like Steam keys, other sort of gamey bits. I know that we've also got vouchers for Extra Life Gaming Cafe.
Yes.
So the lounge. Is it the lounge or the cafe?
Yeah,
Are they interchangeable?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't want to make.
I use them both.
I don't want to.
yeah.
Sorry.
I think I've also called them both.
Yeah.
Called it both. So
sorry if you're watching, Mike. I forgot.
But yeah, we've got a ton of £5 vouchers for there. That Ember have got. So when everything's back to normal again, you can take that voucher and spend it on anything you like inside there. So hopefully it'll be really good fun. I mean, I don't expect she'll sit there for 12 hours, but we will be putting the campaign video on every now and then, so people that just join the stream know exactly what we're fundraising for. And we're really going to try hard and push it, and just like I think it's £250 is the goal total for the stream. I know some people from Ember have donated already, which is cool, but what we really need is obviously your support, and there's going to be I know these guys, this is a bunch of different personalities, so it'll be a laugh, I think, regardless. I think going one stream to the next will be quite funny.
I mean, you say you don't stick around, nobody's going to stick around for all 12 hours. Try.
Yeah, I mean,
give it a go.
Yeah.
You can just put it on, you can cast it to your telly, and you can sit back and do something else if you want.
What else are you going to do?
Chocolate eggs.
I mean, is Animal Crossing not the perfect background game?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, I was like, oh god, I hope I can ham this up somehow, because people are going to judge me for my island first and foremost. And I was like, well, I'll leave myself a lot of little admin tasks to do. I know I've got some tools to make.
Have you got all the weeds off the island? There's no weeds there, because that could be embarrassing.
That's the first thing I did, and then I got stuck and I had no weeds for medicine.
Oh no.
Nightmare.
Sorry, wait 24 hours, you'll be good.
But yeah, that's what us guys are up to tomorrow. Fingers crossed it'll do some good. Well, we're really hoping anyway, because it'd be a massive shame, obviously, if we lost you guys. You're really important to us. So.
I mean, the support we've had so far on the campaign has been it's been brilliant, to be honest. We've already had, I think, over 450 kind of people donate to us, which is just, and each of them, every single one of them is leaving or nearly every single one is leaving some really really nice messages about how important kind of heritage and games culture are, and preserving this stuff.
They love you. I think that's as simple as it is. Like, people love that museum.
So that is great. That is great. And there's some kind of really exciting plans as well over the next couple of months to kind of continue with that fundraising drive. We do also have, alongside Ember's kind of actually kick-starting it, actually, because I believe on the Monday, also the Yogs cast are helping us out.
Brilliant.
So they're going to do a little thing as well. So yeah, that's going to be really, really cool, and we'll see kind of how that goes.
Obviously, they recommend they recognize a completely unique resource when they see one.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of, actually, to be fair, there's a lot of museums that are struggling across the UK, and there are a couple of good good computer museums that also do some really good game stuff, I must admit. But our kind of singular focus on games culture and celebrating kind of that all that stuff around games as well is definitely at risk of being lost.
It's awesome, and I think anybody that's been would be so upset to see it go. So I think just gotta get everyone together.
It's really good having kind of big national museums in Sheffield as well.
Yeah, huge, massive. And not only that, but it's something that, like, it's exactly what this podcast is about. It is like the feeling you get when you walk into the MVM is something. It's a little bit like the feeling that we're getting now, which is to say, we miss the sun and we miss like, you didn't realize that there were needs for your community in a physical space, right? Being recognized in an actual physical space near you and not virtually, like, being, no matter how big the community, I've been part of so many online communities, and I love all my friends who I have found through the internet. But there's something tremendously validating and tremendously real about stepping into the MVM and being surrounded by the world that you knew was there already, but you'd never seen made manifest.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's such a nostalgia wave, like, and you can speak to your friends about the past, and like we do it all the time. Like we say, do you remember this game? And then all of a sudden you've got the people that you were taught that with, and you're just there in the moment, and you just get this nice rush of nice memories. And it's just, not to sound too basic about it, but it's just good vibes, isn't it? Like, it's nice.
It's good vibes.
It's really nice.
Good vibes.
It's absolutely good vibes.
You both can make me cry.
I mean, it would, listen, Connor, it would be good to be able to clip that. We could use that as part of the stream. So if you want to open up those tear ducts.
Just cut to that, or give me half an hour. I was going to stick on the notebook or something, and I'll get back in that mood.
Well, it's not the end, is it? It's the middle. Doesn't matter.
Right. So anyway, other kind of things I wanted to kind of chat about is there are like we chat about whether it's gaming lounge or gaming cafe, but Extra Life as well. Obviously, a kind of brand new, still less than a year old. That awesome kind of gaming cafe is also had to close. And if anybody's kind of started their own business, it's kind of can be tough at the best of times, and this is definitely not the best of times. I do know that Extra Life are doing kind of gift vouchers that you can go and kind of buy. But also, actually, alongside that, Mike Penman, who is the kind of the head honcho over at Extra Life, he's been doing a load of streaming stuff, which is basically just kind of streaming himself playing games every day. But it's been really nice. I've been tuning into a couple of them over the past week, and it's been really kind of nice seeing how his kind of community that go to Extra Life week in, week out have kind of followed him online and chatting away in his chat on his Twitch stream. And it's just been it's been really kind of pleasant to see. So I'd recommend going have a look at Extra Life's stream. Mike's a great guy. He's a really good game player as well. Actually,
I assume it's on Twitch.
Yeah, it should be on Twitch. Think about Extra Life. I got it from their Facebook page.
All right, cool.
That's where I found the link. But it's really cool. And it's just nice that how obviously these would be best if these communities were kept physical, or kept physical, but kind of carried on meeting up week in, week out. Can't happen at the moment, obviously, but seeing it translated into the kind of the virtual world is nice, and some people might need that right about now. But Extra Life, go check out the stream and buy a voucher if you are able. Meltdown 2, the bar just on the other side of us at the museum, by Matt, they have had to kind of fully close their doors as well, which is like I said, not good. But they are also kind of selling vouchers, and I believe that both Extra Life and Meltdown are doing like an extra deal as well. So if you buy a voucher, it's actually worth more money when you actually go to spend it.
Oh, okay, That's a really good idea.
Yeah, so like I think you should
So
spend.
it's like saving. It's
Yeah.
exactly like saving.
Yeah, it's like
It is.
Treehouse doing the same thing, aren't they? Yeah, it makes sense.
It's an investment, totally an investment. So
I pay £5 now, I get £10 later. Stonks.
exactly, and
Stonks.
and we know that the party that is going to be at Meltdown when this is all over is going to be incredible. So get your bar tabs in now, is what I'm saying.
Because then you won't. I mean, I don't know how all this works, but right, like if you got those, no need to fiddle with all that change. Just cash in that.
£250 voucher.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Honestly, as a woman, like you carry this crap little bag about, and your clothes never have pockets. If I just have a voucher on me, I am plain sailing. Like that's what I want. I just want one piece of paper. I don't want to carry my cards and I don't know all the other crap that we carry about.
So we're doing you a favour, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of all women, thank you.
It's such an investment. Yeah. There's gonna be a massive blowout, though, isn't there? Really, we've been thinking this as well. Like just amongst the the staff of the Treehouse I've been talking to and stuff. Everyone is going to build. We've barely breached kind of the main portion of this kind of festive lockdown period, and it's or the big sit down as Ruth, my boss at the Treehouse, likes to call it, we've barely got started really. Everyone is going to be so ready for a night out, for a drink. By then, it's gonna be amazing.
I mean, I must have. Go on.
So we're all going to be divorced and needing a night out.
We're gonna need that drink. I must admit, I've spent a lot of money on beer. An extortionate amount of money on beer. Because I'm thinking, I would have gone to the pub anyway. So like when you order that kind of £50 beer delivery from a local brewery, it's like that's fine. That's normal.
I've genuinely St. Mars, who are a Sheffield brewery, St. Mars of the Desert, have just started doing carry out cans, and it is the best beer I think that Sheffield's ever produced. But it's bonkers good, but it is tempting me. Like, who can I rope? Who has a car that I can rope into driving out to Attercliffe under the guise of essentials to pick up essential supplies of beer?
We'll do it, Matt.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's all right.
I just thought I'd have a quick look because we've probably been doing the cardinal sin of Twitch streaming in that we've totally been ignoring our chat.
We have.
So,
I've checked, it's fine. Ali's my mate, don't worry.
Okay, I've just noticed, Ali, you've sent a few messages, and I'm really sorry we've not been replying back to you. But this is new to us. We're used to just being in a dark room all together, talking amongst ourselves.
It is really moodlit, isn't it? That studio.
Yeah. So we need to get video in there as well. But this is kind of different to us doing it live. But actually, one thing we should kind of do, I suppose, is actually chat with the chat. So Ali has been great and has been sending a load of messages through, and has a few questions for us. So let's just relay the questions and let's see.
Not to interject too much. Ali's I don't want to say big fan because that makes me sound like a dick. Ali comes to my stream every time. He asks a lot of questions.
Amazing.
He doesn't necessarily need all of them answering. A lot of them are just. Don't worry.
Oh, I was just going to ask. The question that I think he needs, the most pertinent question he asked was, "What should newcomers to Animal Crossing know?" That's a good question.
He's been actually he's super sweet, by the way. He's been in my Discord for quite a while, and he's had this massive issue with his computer. And every single day, it's been, "What do I buy? Is this okay?" Sending a link, and all of the Discord have been piling on him, just trying to help as much as possible. But We've created a whole channel for him just so we can try and get this guy's PC together. Like,
Fantastic.
he's a lovely chap, but he just asks a lot of questions. So he will not be offended if you don't answer all of them.
That's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. We appreciate all your comments, Ali.
Don't worry about it. Colourful eggs that are in a new leaf. No, yes. That's good. I'm glad you've played Final Fantasy 14. Sorry you haven't played 15. Finished. That was the.
There we go. We've answered.
The,
and Tom's here as well. Tom Batty is great. He's obviously a lecturer at Sheffield Hallam in game design. And we're going to get him on a future podcast because I'd be really interested to see their update. I don't want to speak kind of on behalf of him, but I know that universities are having a strange time with it as well, as pivoting onto online content, digital teaching. So I'm sure that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Tom just said, "Yeah, teaching from my flat."
Nice work.
I've heard that. Yeah, I heard that a lot of in fact, Ben, Quizmaster Ben from the Treehouse Quiz teaches cello and is a phenomenal cello teacher and has pivoted to a bunch of Zoom lessons and stuff to do that. And I think that's really wild, really amazing how like people who are self-employed work for themselves or just in some way. It is just actually quite inspiring how many people are finding ways to do their jobs without the normal way that we do that, which is turning up to a location and doing it.
For sure. It's probably going to, I think, after this, a lot of people are going to look at their jobs and think, can I do this remote? And is that better for the environment? Is it better economically? Is it better, it could be better for a lot of things.
Better change things up for sure.
Yeah.
I can't do mine remote, unfortunately. I can't. Well, I suppose I could bring you a coffee, but it wouldn't really be remote. That would be less remote than anything else. I could teach you how to play a game remotely.
Yeah. Or you could be a hologram like Rimmer.
True. As long as then also there is some kind of way for me to interact with the bar pump.
No, you can. I've watched a lot of Red Dwarf. He's fine. He can hold the soup. He can drive the thing. He's fine. You're golden.
Is that out now? The new Red Dwarf stuff.
I've not seen the new one. I'm just thinking of that one episode of Pistachio Soup.
I mean, has anybody? So one thing I wanted to jump back to is kind of teaching online. And you're talking about Matt, all the different kind of ways that you can kind of play games online, do kind of online social stuff. Tabletop Simulator, I know I've been pushed to download that because the mods on there are incredible and you can just download any game. Is that right?
Well, yes, and a bit. So it's weird, I'll say, is that there are official DLCs from games creators that... you can buy on top of it. The Tabletop Simulator is about £15, I think, on Steam, and then you can buy the additional DLCs. Wingspan is a big one. Scythe, I think you can get a lot of board games that you can play on there. But also, there's the community workshop that everyone might have, if you use mods on Steam, you might have run across, and people make their own stuff in there, and of course, in addition to that, people also make other people's stuff in there. So yes, technically you can play any game just about that anyone has translated over there. In fact, I played a Kirby Wendy's roll and move like Happy Meal essentially game in there. Like at one point, Wendy's had a promotion with Kirby, and it was a game in which you basically drew a card and then moved that many spaces. And there is no game to that. You just do what it tells you to, and you can play it on there. The question is, of course, there is that small question of, is this okay?
Is this legal?
Is this legal? As far as I understand it, like I've been playing, I don't know. Well, I've been playing a bunch of stuff on there. In like I'm not going to say what I've been playing.
No naming names.
I cover myself, just in case, because I don't know. I think almost all the stuff on there that's like really big is not like a problem.
Mhm.
That's because they're different experiences, right? When you play a modern game, you aren't like getting the board game experience.
No.
When you play a game in Tabletop Simulator, you're not getting really the board game experience. You're not getting all that stuff that arrives in this enormous box, and sort of you get to play with it. I would still play games physically any moment of like at any given time. I'd always choose to do that. Tabletop Simulator is fun because you get to throw pieces around in a digital space, press the flip the table button, and kind of then rewind time and pretend you didn't.
the flip the table button just sounds like a dream. Okay, I think we are coming up to 6:30, so we've had our hour, hour slot. But
one more update, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I was going to say, yeah, go right ahead.
For anybody that's already a member of Ember, I hate saying that, just too rhymey. Basically, we've got some really, really massive changes coming up to how everything looks, how everything works. I just wanted to let you know that we've not been sort of sat doing nothing. We've been working really hard. It's going to look better. It's going to be like the access is going to be so much easier. There's still codes available if you do want to sign up. You can speak to myself or Max. Well, I'll send the Discord out as well on all my socials so you know where to find us. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know we're not sort of taking a back seat while all this is happening. We are gunning for this whole new thing, and I think it's going to be really exciting. But just wanted to let you know, I didn't want you to feel like we'd abandoned you at all or anything.
I had a quick sneak peek of the new look Ember, and it's gorgeous. It looks really, really good. Yeah, and like another thing, kind of that I was having a quick chat with Max, and he definitely kind of said that building a website is hard. It's hard. Yeah, particularly when he's so ambitious as well, which he is. So yeah, definitely. But it's looking good. It's looking good. Okay. So how can or I was going to say thank you everyone kind of for listening, but how can everybody that has tuned in today, where can they find you? I've put there should be a name underneath our little things here. But Jade, where can people find you on the internet and what are you up to?
You can find me at the Noxbear on Twitter, where I will be mostly posting isolation selfies and Animal Crossing statuses with expletives in. And also, the most important one is emberapp.gg, where you can sign up to Ember, request a key, and be part of our massive, lovely community.
Awesome. Matt?
So first thing I want you to do is go, if you're interested in board games at all, I want you to go to Facebook and type in Social Gaming at the Treehouse. I want you to go there because we're kicking off that community. We're getting people playing board games on Monday. We'll be doing that in the evening, I believe, so go over there. But if you want to find me and what I do, Twitter at Matt Speaks Words is what's on the bottom of my little screen there. But also I do a podcast called Life's a Pitch Podcast, where you can listen to me more, where we pitch films that will never get made based on titles given to us by our audience. And it is something I'm quite proud of, and we've been doing it for like 5 years now. But you can pretty much jump in at any given episode. Over there on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Life's a Pitch Podcast, you can find me and my co-host Tom. We're currently halfway into a kind of lockdown-infused fever dream of reading the Star Wars Episode 1 junior novelization in Facebook live streams. We're about at chapter 12 out of 21 now. So
like a
we've
bedtime story.
Kind of, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
We're doing it most evenings. We're sort of doing a chapter here and there, and we've just got past the pod race, so you can go over there and see the VODs of that. But yeah, go out and check that podcast out. That's Life's a Pitch Podcast, and please kind of do the things that we said about the Treehouse.
Yes, Awesome. My second most unpopular opinion is that Star Wars Episode 1 is the best Star Wars movie. So I am all behind that. And I'm definitely going to kind of drop in there. Ooh. And then for me, you can kind of find me doing National Video Game Museum stuff. If you just see the National Video Game Museum online, I'll probably be behind there somewhere. But also personally, I'm on Twitter in this name here, Chrono Cleon, on the bottom of the box. And yeah, thank you everyone for kind of tuning in. Thank you so much, Jade and Matt, for coming online and testing this live show, stream, podcast.
We're doing this again, right? We're doing this.
We are. That's a really good point. That's something I should have had written down in my notes. Yes, we're going to be doing this every week from now on because we're all kind of locked inside our houses, right? And Friday at 5:30 p.m. we're going to try and do this every week, and we're going to be discussing different things each time. Next week, I believe we were going to be chatting about how games can kind of keep our brains and maybe our bodies as well active, and how we can kind of keep sharp whilst we're all kind of moulding into our sofas, as I am. So yeah, that's that. Good spot, Matt. That's why you're the pro. Okay, awesome. See you everyone later.
See you next week.
See you later. All right.